Okay, I am here in fractions number 10 Jamboard. We're going to look at solving some word problems involving fractions. So when you have word problems, decide first what kind of problem it is. Is this addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division? So be sure you read the problem and even reread the problem. Maybe restate the problem in your own words to understand what's going on, and then look for what are you trying to find out and how many steps will it take to find your answer. Set your problem up, calculate, and then be sure to label your answer based on whatever you're asked about. And then think about, does your answer make sense in the problem? So number one, it says a recipe calls for 3/4 cup of brown sugar. If you want to make 1/4 of the recipe, how many cups of brown sugar do you need? Now, the key word here that I want to highlight is the word of. In math, that word of means multiply. Okay, so that is the key word. That is the key word that lets me know this is going to be a multiplication problem. Okay, now if I want 1/4 of or times, all right, I'm going to put a dot for multiply. I want 1/4 of the recipe. How many cups are in the recipe? What did it say? It said there is a 3/4 cup of brown sugar in the recipe. So if I want 1/4 of the recipe, I'm going to use 1/4 of what I would normally use. So I want 1/4 of 3/4, since that's what I normally use if I were to make the whole recipe. But I'm not making the whole recipe, I'm only making 1/4 of it. So I want 1/4 of, or times, 3/4. I'm multiplying fractions here, so I'm going to look and see, can I cross simplify? 1/4, I can't simplify there. 3/4, I can't simplify there either. So I multiply my numerators. 1 times 3 is 3, and 4 times 4 is 16. And so I get 3/16 of a cup. That is what I will use to make 1/4 of the recipe. So does my answer make sense? If I were to make the whole recipe, I would use 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar, but I'm not making the whole recipe. I'm only making 1/4 of the recipe. And so I would expect that the amount of brown sugar that I use would be 1/4 of what I normally use. And that is correct. 3/16 of a cup is 1/4 of 3/4. So 3/16 of a cup. Number two, how many pounds of candy will each person get if 5 people share 6.5 pounds of Skittles? Write your answer as a mixed number. Okay, the key word here that I want to draw your attention to is share. These people are going to share these pounds of Skittles. And so what I need to do here is I need to take my total amount of Skittles, which is 6.5. I'm going to take that and divide it among the people that are sharing this, which is 5 people. So I'm going to divide it among 5 people. Okay. Now, by way of illustration here, I want to show you what if this was instead 10. If this was 10 pounds of Skittles, then I think you would catch on pretty quickly that I should divide here. If 5 people are going to share 10 pounds of Skittles, I would take my total amount of Skittles, 10 pounds, and I would divide it among the 5 people, right? And 10 divided by 5 would be 2. Each person would get 2 pounds. But I know that I'm not dividing among 10 people, not dividing 10 pounds, I'm dividing 6.5 pounds. So back to my original problem, I have 6.5 pounds divided by 5. So because I have a mixed number, let's use the C method to make this improper. 2 times 6 is 12, plus 1 is 13. So 6.5 is the same thing as 13 halves. And I am dividing that. I'm going to bring my division symbol down. I'm dividing that by 5, right? Or 5/1. Now, because I see that I'm dividing by a fraction, now I can use KFC. I can keep 13/2, flip 5 to be 1/5, and then C, change from division to multiplication. I can't cross simplify, so I multiply the numerators. 13 times 1 is 13, and 2 times 5 is 10. So 13/10. But the directions said write this as a mixed number. So I'm going to divide top number divided by bottom number. 10 goes into 13 once because 1 times 10 is 10. 13 minus 10 is 3. So 3 becomes the numerator in my mixed number, and 10, my divisor, becomes the denominator. So 1 and 3/10, and this is pounds, or I could put LBS, pounds. So if 5 people share 6.5 pounds, each person will get 1 and 3/10 pounds. Okay, number 3, how many 2/3 cup servings are in 1 1/2 cups of cheese? The key word here that I want to bring your attention to is are in. If you're trying to figure out how many servings are in something else, that is division. I'm going to start with my total amount, 1 1/2. I'll start with that. And I'm going to divide among the number of servings that I'm asked about, and that is 2/3. So 2/3 cup servings. So 1 1/2 divided by 2/3. That's going to give me how many 2/3 cup servings are in 1 1/2. Okay, so if you see this phrase are in, if you're trying to figure out how many cups are in something else, that is division. Start with your total amount and divide by your number of servings. I see a mixed number. Let's make it improper by the C method. So 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. So 1 1/2 is the same thing as 3/2, and I'm dividing that by 2/3. Okay, now that I see I'm dividing by a fraction, now I use K of C. I keep the first fraction, 3/2. I flip 2/3 to be 3/2, and I change from division to multiplication. I can't cross simplify, so 3 times 3 is 9 in the numerator, and 2 times 2 is 4 in the denominator. 9/4 is improper, so let's make this mixed by dividing top divided by bottom. 4 goes into 9 twice because 2 times 4 is 8. Once I subtract, I get 1, which becomes my numerator, and 4 is my denominator. So 2 1/4, what? What's my label? Servings, right? 2 1/4 servings. Circle final answer. Okay, one more. It says you place a 3 3/8 pound weight on the left side of the scale and a 1 1/5 pound weight on the right side. How much weight do you need to add to the right side to balance the scale? Okay, so I have this picture here of the scale, and as you can see on the left side, there's 3 3/8 pounds on the left side. So obviously that side weighs more than this side. That's why this side is weighed. It's weighed down, right? Further. So I want to figure out how much weight should I add to the right side so that the scale is balanced, or so that it looks like this, so that the left side is the same weight as the right side. Now, I know that you see the word add in here, but you should not add 3 3/8 and 1 1/5, because if you add those together, that is not the amount of weight that you should add to this side to get the sides to be equal. What instead you should do is find the difference between 3 3/8 and 1 1/5. And when I say difference, you should think subtraction, right? Because the difference is the answer to a subtraction problem. So the way to set your problem up is to take your larger number, 3 3/8, and subtract the smaller number, 1 1/5. Okay. Once I find the difference between these two numbers, whatever my answer is, that is the amount of weight I should add to the right side so that my scale will be balanced, so that it will look like this, so that the left side will be the same weight as the right side. So I'm going to leave it to you to figure out how to subtract 3 3/8 minus 1 1/5. I'm subtracting here, so I know I need to get common denominators. Okay, so you finish the rest. And at the end, once you're finished showing all of your work, be sure you turn it in.